You've probably heard of Deinosuchus, or Purussaurus brasiliensis, the giant of Brazil. But this crocodile is unlike anything you've ever seen. Meet Kaprosuchus saharicus. Long limbs, an upright body, and 3 pairs of tusks that no crocodile, living or fossil, should have. But the most revealing detail is the legs. Long, erect, lifting the body off the ground. This crocodile didn't wade in the water, it ran. Today, we're going to reconstruct how science decoded this predator from fragmented bones, and why, on the other side of the ocean, in Brazil, evolution tried to build the same thing twice. When you picture a crocodile, you picture something specific. A flat body, eyes on top of the head, lurking at the water's surface, waiting for prey to come close. But Kaprosuchus saharicus shatters that image entirely. And the environment it lived in already gives us the first clue. Forget the riverbank. The environment this animal inhabited 95 million years ago was dry, seasonal plains, not flooded swamps. Now that we know Kaprosuchus's natural habitat, let's dive deep into this prehistoric animal's fossils and discover what they reveal. First, let's look at the skull. Notice the position of the eyes in the reconstruction. On the sides of the skull, not on top. Aquatic crocodiles have eyes high on their heads to peer above the water while the body stays submerged. The legs tell a different story too. Long, erect, positioned under the body, not splayed outward like a crocodile crawling through mud. Dry skin, adapted to heat, without the wet sheen we associate with an aquatic predator. Everything about this body points to dry land. That's exactly what paleontologists Paul Sereno and Hans Larsen noticed when they re-examined the specimen in 2009. The anatomy didn't fit the story everyone had already decided to tell. For years, the assumption was simple. Every ancient crocodile hunted the way crocodiles hunt today, hidden in the water. The evidence, described by Sereno and Larsen in 2009 in the journal Zoo Keys, said otherwise. This was a land hunter, a body built to chase, not to ambush. And that was only the first problem with the picture we had of Kaprosuchus, because the skull's anatomy held something even stranger, and it was right in front of its face. Its posture proved it hunted on land. But hunting on land doesn't explain why this animal literally had boar tusks coming out of its mouth. The animal's very name comes from that. Kaprosuchus, from Greek, Boar Crocodile. And the name is literal. The first pair of elongated tusks sits at the tip of the snout in the premaxillary bone. Projected forward, built to pierce, not to clamp prey underwater. The second pair is further back in the lower maxillary bone. Even larger, curved, positioned exactly where a boar has its canines. And the third pair, in the upper jaw, completes the set. 3 pairs, not a random pattern of large teeth, but an architecture repeated 3 times. Piercing teeth, projected forward, on a predator with long legs and an upright posture. The functional conclusion is straightforward. This was designed to impale and tear on dry land. The estimated size, released alongside the original publication, is around 6 meters, longer than a passenger car. Now that we understand Kaprosuchus's full anatomy, the question remains, what did it hunt? Before we continue, if you enjoy these investigations, subscribe to Planeta Extinto and hit the bell. Your subscription and your like go a long way toward helping this video reach more people. That's how we keep alive the animals the world forgot. The crocodile that hunted dinosaurs. That was the headline that circled the world in 2009. The basis is real. The tooth morphology and the coexistence in the same formation with dinosaurs. The likely targets would have been juveniles and small-bodied dinosaurs. But there was a problem the headlines didn't mention. No preserved stomach contents, no documented bite marks on dinosaur bone, no direct taphonomic association between the 2 animals. The proposal by Sereno and Larsen, published in 2009, is a plausible functional hypothesis based on anatomy and coexistence. It is not, and was never presented as, a confirmed fact from the fossil record. While that question stayed open in the Sahara, 5,000 miles away, another continent was about to produce a nearly identical evolutionary answer. Kaprosuchus may have hunted dinosaurs, or maybe not. But in Brazil, nearly 30 million years later, another group of crocodilomorphs arrived at the same solution, completely independently. The Bauru group, in the interior of São Paulo and Minas Gerais, late Cretaceous, between 84 and 66 million years ago, well after Kaprosuchus had already vanished. There lived Baurusuchus, a tall, narrow skull, never flattened, serrated blade-like teeth, long legs positioned under the body, in an upright stance, the same general design of a terrestrial predator emerging again, with neither animal having any contact with the other. It's tempting to picture Baurusuchus as a close relative of Kaprosuchus, almost the same animal on two continents. But the phylogeny, established by Turner and Sertich in 2010 and detailed by Montefeltro and colleagues, places them in entirely separate lineages. What connects the two is not kinship, it's convergent evolution. The same ecological pressure producing, twice independently, the same experiment of a terrestrial crocodile. In the Bauru group, Baurusuchus didn't hunt alone. Abelosaurid theropods like Pycnonymosaurus, around 7 meters long, were likely rivals for prey and territory. Kaprosuchus and Baurusuchus solved the same problem on opposite sides of the planet. Neither solved the problem of surviving. Kaprosuchus is known from a single fossil site. The record is limited, and there's no detailed documentation of the exact moment this lineage disappeared. Baurusuchus went extinct within the Cretaceous itself, before the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary. The specific cause remains uncertain. It wasn't the asteroid that wiped them out. Two independent attempts to turn a crocodile into a terrestrial predator. Both vanished without leaving direct descendants. So where do today's crocodiles come from? The ones you actually recognize, lurking at the water's edge. From a completely different lineage. One that never left the water. The crocodile that survived to the present is not the one that tried something else. Kaprosuchus, at full scale, walking across the dry plains of what is now the Sahara, a complete evolutionary experiment, now extinct. On the other side of the ocean, a Baurusuchus moves through the undergrowth of the Bauru group. The same experiment repeated, also extinct. The crocodile you picture, lurking, still in the water, is actually the exception that survived, not the rule. Two lineages broke the rules of the aquatic crocodile. Both paid the price for it. What the fossil record of Kaprosuchus and Baurusuchus truly teaches us isn't about teeth or boar tusks. It's about how much evolution experiments, and how those experiments, even successful ones for millions of years, can disappear without leaving any heirs. What remains, after all of this, isn't just a crocodile with strange tusks. It's the reminder that the most obvious path, staying in the water, isn't always the only one, or the most interesting one. And there's something particular about knowing that, in a corner of the Brazilian interior, lived the evolutionary equivalent of that same experiment. A distant twin, with no direct kinship, lost on the same scale of time. Not every evolutionary experiment lasts, but all of them, for a time, were the right answer for the world they lived in. Kaprosuchus existed. Baurusuchus existed. The world forgot them both. We won't.